Shams just dropped a bombshell. He just reported that Mitchell Robinson will be making his season debut soon. And when he does, the Knicks will be making a change to their closing lineup. We're going to be breaking down all of these latest reports today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And make sure you have notifications turned on. So that way, anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. Shams drops a bombshell about Mitchell Robinson's return. The Knicks were able to get back Josh Hart and OG Anunoby for today's matchup against the Celtics. Not like it mattered much, though. The Knicks were blown off the floor. We were destroyed again by another top team in the league. The Knicks are now 0-7 against the best teams in the NBA. But we'll talk about that in another video. Getting back to today's topic, the Knicks were still able to get back more players. That means we're very close to being fully healthy once again. But we will not be at full strength until we get Mitchell Robinson back. But according to these latest reports, Mitchell Robinson will be making his season debut next week for the Knicks. Shout out to NBA Insider with ESPN, Shams Charania, for giving us the following information about Mitchell Robinson's return for the Knicks this season. According to Shams, I'm here to report that Mitchell Robinson is closing in on his season debut. Sources tell me his goal is to make his return to the lineup at some point over the next week. He's participated in multiple full scrimmages in the last several days. He's going to have another session scheduled for earlier in the week. And then the Knicks and Mitchell Robinson will make a determination on when that target date could be. He's expected to be an anchor for the Knicks on defense alongside Karl-Anthony Towns, potentially finishing games together for the Knicks. We have had a number of reports come out that have been consistent already, indicating that Robinson will be making his return at the beginning of March. And what Shams is reporting here is that Robinson is likely going to return within the next week. If you look at it, next week is March 1st. Next Sunday is March 2nd. So everything is consistent with Mitchell Robinson returning early March. Let me make something very clear. While I am very happy to hear that Mitchell Robinson will be making his return for the Knicks next week, it does not mean it's going to magically fix all of the issues the Knicks currently have. Just because he comes back, it doesn't mean our perimeter defense is magically going to get better. It doesn't mean we're not going to get blown off the floor. Yes, will some areas get better once he returns? Absolutely. We all know that. Interior defense is probably going to be the best we've ever seen it once Mitchell Robinson returns. Going back to something very important that Shams stated here, he mentioned that the Knicks are likely going to close games with Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. That means they're going to be closing games with offense and defense. You're going to have your defensive anchor inside and Karl-Anthony Towns being the 4, roaming outside, being able to do anything he wants to do. And after watching this game against the Celtics, it's clear we need a change, and we need to make a change extremely fast. And if that change is going to be Mitchell Robinson closing out games with Karl-Anthony Towns, depending on who we're facing, depending on what the issues we have are, I have no problem with that at all. But honestly, I'm a little bit shocked by this report from Shams, because I would have never anticipated that Mitchell Robinson would be a player that the Knicks would look at to be closing games with. I always look at Josh Hart or some of these other players, not Mitchell Robinson, because if that's the case, that means Tom Thibodeau will not be able to play Mitchell Robinson in heavy minutes in quarter 1, 2, or 3. He'll have to save him for that last quarter. I don't know how many minutes he's going to play in the fourth. He might play the entire fourth. He might play half the fourth. Whatever those minutes are going to be, Tom Thibodeau is going to have to evaluate that and make sure he uses Robinson properly so he doesn't burn him out, and he uses him for the amount of minutes he can use him each and every game. Remember, Mitchell Robinson cannot play 35, 37 minutes a night. It's just not possible for him anymore. The only amount of minutes he's likely going to be able to play even when he's fully healthy, without any limitations or restrictions, is probably 23 to 25 minutes a night, maybe even less than that. Tom Thibodeau is going to have to be smart, and so is this Knicks team. But if the plan is going to be using Mitchell Robinson and Karl-Anthony Towns down the stretch of games as the closing lineup, I don't have any issue with it as long as Tom Thibodeau understands it's a weapon that should not be overly used or abused. It depends on the matchup and who we're facing. Depending on that, that's when you play these type of lineups. But it doesn't mean it's a magic pill. It doesn't mean Mitchell Robinson is the savior. He cannot do it by himself. And if we think Robinson returning is going to solve all of the Knicks' problems, that's how you set yourself up for failure. When you give yourself such unrealistic expectations. Mitchell Robinson, not even Mitch, no one player in this league can return to a team and change everything that that team means and does. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. Chemistry matters, and you need to be able to access that, improve that, and get better with that before you start to see impact on the floor. You can't see that without chemistry. So myself, I don't believe Mitchell Robinson coming back is going to fix everything. Some things will get better, but a lot of things need work. Effort, you can't just get better with that by adding another player. Effort needs to get better across the board for everybody that's on the floor. The defensive effort for all of our players when they're out there is not consistent. Take this Boston game, for instance. Look at the first half. The first half, no defense was played. Then in the third quarter, the Knicks were actually playing defense. That and Boston was forcing up a lot of threes and missing a lot of threes. That was allowing the Knicks to play fast, run in transition, and score. And that way we were able to close the gap and make it a 4-point game going into the fourth quarter. But then what happened? Kind of similar to last time. We came back in the third and got demolished in the fourth. This time around, the same thing happened again. Cut the lead and then get destroyed and blown off the floor in the fourth quarter. I am calling it like I see it. You think I want to say these things about the Knicks? You think I want all of this to be true? You guys don't want to see it. You guys don't want it to be true. Neither do I. But when it is true, what should I say? Should I ignore it? Should I put it on the floor? Should I try to make it seem more happy or more positive? Oh, it's okay. We'll get better. We'll do better later on. Even if that's the case, we have lost to the top teams in the league 7 times. We have refused to make a statement 7 times. We have been blown off the floor by these teams more times than I can count. And the last 2 times, Boston now, today, and Cleveland on Friday, we have been blown off the floor. Being upset and hating are 2 completely different things. When you're a hater, you're always a hater. You look for things to hate about. But when you're calling it like you see it, you're just looking at what the Knicks give you and expressing your feelings about it. That's what I do. That's what a lot of you guys do. And that's what we're forced to do right now because we are not getting it done against the top teams in the league. And all today proved to me was exactly what Friday proved to me, what the other games proved to me against the top teams. The Knicks are not ready for this level. We've had so many chances to prove everybody wrong. And what have we done in those moments? We failed. And until we can make the most of these games, the most of those moments, be competitive, pick up the win, and do it in a fashion that represents New York in the right way, I don't think we'll ever be considered a real, legitimate championship contender. But what about you guys? What do you think about Shams dropping this bombshell about Mitchell Robinson potentially making his season debut next week? Let me know how you feel about that in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.